Well, most people are surprised to learn that the only health care policies available to them are ones that are sold in the state where they live. Very few other products or services are handled that way. The Health Care Choice Act would allow every American the opportunity to purchase a health care plan from anywhere in the country. It's just common sense. That would mean there are dozens and hundreds of competitors for every individual shopping for health insurance. So this would create a national market and give people the opportunity not only to buy all over the country, but to keep their policies when they move. If they move from state to state, it's really silly for them to have to change policies when that happens. So as we move to more of an individual-based health insurance system, it's very important that we allow people to buy policies from anywhere in the country. Well, the tax credits would give every family in America $5,000 a year to buy health insurance. A lot of the group policies are more expensive than that, but some of the high deductible policies you could buy for $2,000, $3,000 a year and put the balance in a health savings account, so it's very likely that people could have good policies, more control of how they spend their money for $5,000 a year. Right now, policies are more expensive because there's a lot of transfer of cost. Many people who go to the hospital don't pay, they're uninsured. The government pays less than the cost of many healthcare services. All this is transferred onto the cost of private health insurance owners. But if everyone is paying when they go to the doctor in the hospital, the cost of health care will go down. The cost of health insurance will go down, particularly if there's more competition with people buying policies across state lines. So we do believe that a $5,000 a year tax credit could provide good health insurance, the insurance that people could afford and keep. Well, Senator McCain has the right idea. He's using the tax credit, so whether or not you file income taxes or not, whether you're poor or rich, you'd get $5,000 a year to buy health insurance. And as we mentioned before, as more and more individuals are insured, with our goal of every American being insured, the cost of health care and health insurance will go down dramatically. And none of us today should want our employer to own our health insurance. We all change jobs so many times during our lifetime. Everyone should have the right and the opportunity to have a health insurance policy that they can afford and that they can keep from job to job and then into retirement. I know when I retire, I don't want to go on a government plan that tells me what kind of health care I can get and doesn't pay doctors enough to see me. I want to take my own insurance into retirement. And if we create this tax credit situation that I can continue to get when I retire, that's a policy that's mine, that I can afford, and that I can keep throughout my life. Well, purchasing health insurance across state lines is what the Health Care Choice Act is all about. And certainly they should. We can buy a car across state lines, we can buy computers, we can buy just about everything. It does not make sense for a few insurance companies to have a monopoly in every state and be able to run the price of health insurance up. And a lot of states, the legislatures have passed so many mandates that the health insurance is too expensive to afford. And some states now, on their own, are starting to make a decision to allow their citizens to buy less expensive policies without the mandates. The natural next step is to say, hey, if you live in South Carolina, you want to buy a policy in Arizona, you're a free American, you should be able to do that. Well, probably more than anything else, the 2008 elections is a decision by the American people of whether they want government-run health care or do they want a free market system where the patient is in the center of the health insurance policy and at the center of health care. So I think you're going to see John McCain offering the opportunity of that patient-centered health care where people own their own health insurance. They can keep it from job to job and throughout their life if they want. On the other side, Barack Obama is going to offer an alternative that is pretty much a government-run system. I mean, they try to dress it up and say these will be private policies, but they're so heavily government regulated with price fixing and mandate, the private market is not going to work in that environment. So we're talking about socialized medicine versus patient-centered free market health care. So this is a big decision for the American people. Do we want to be more like Europe and Canada, or do we want to be more like America?